So you probably don't know this, but you're probably risking hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, on someone's guess. And the odds are that person you probably don't even know that well yet. You may not even have met them until, a few days ago, maybe even today. So what I want to get into is this. We all have, when we put our homes on the market, so if you're putting your home on the market now, even though the market is good, sometimes it'll be good, sometimes it'll be bad. But no matter how good or bad it is, you want to maximize what you make for your home. Problem is, in real estate, one of the few industries that you need a ton of data to get you the best number for your home. Most agents are just guessing what they can get, like who the buyers are, where should they advertise. They are totally guessing. It's almost like selling a steak to a vegetarian. And like, imagine you have a steak, make say Omaha Steaks, for those of you that have heard of them. It's a steak company. They sell meat, online and through mail to someone. Imagine if you didn't know who you were selling it to. And what happened is you accidentally, your list was a bunch of vegetarians, vegan people, and that would be the people um, that you were advertising to. Obviously, it wouldn't do well, and in real estate, that happens a lot. So I'm going to break down how our team actually gets homes sold. So in 17 years, we've had just about a 95% success rate on getting homes sold, and that's had it's not just a guess how that's happening. I'm going to break down really quickly how to get your home sold. And I guess it's not really quickly. I'm going to take time to go over this so you know exactly what should be done to get your home sold. So when I go over this, I'm going to give you an example of a property and I'm going to show you exactly what took place and how to do it, pros and cons of other agents doing it and what we did. So the first thing is a lot of times agents will tell the seller or even the seller selling their homes by themselves, they'll guess on the buyers who are going to buy the home. And that's not good because a lot of times our guesses aren't that great. So the first thing that we do, our team, Will, Jade, Vico, myself, and there are a few others in it, we look at a home. So if you're going to sell your home, we go back, we go online and we're going to look at their last 20 or 25 buyers that actually bought a home in your area. We're not going to guess and we're not going to just look at the names. We're going to spend a few hours. So, say John Smith bought a home in your neighborhood, and we're going to go online. We're going to make sure we find the right John Smith and Mary Smith. Obviously, these are made up names, but then we're going to do a very, very deep dive into that buyer. So we're going to look, we're going to find out where they're from. We're going to find out what they do for a living. Did they move from out of town? Did they come here, or are they local? We're going to also check their social accounts. We're going to check their Instagram, their Facebook, their LinkedIn, whatever information we can find about that person. We're going to dive deep into it. And we're going to do this longhand. It's not there's a computer program we do this because we don't want to guess on something on this information because this is crucial. These are the types of buyers that are going to buy your home. So we're going to take a sheet of paper. We're going to write down John Smith is a doctor. He's in his mid 40s to late 50s or whatever. We're going to get a range of that person's age. We're going to find out if there are any other buyers that bought with him. We're going to find out about the family, the lifestyle of the person, meaning what they like to do for a living, where they go, what type of products they like, do they like how they like to dress, whatever information we can get on that person, we're gonna get, and we're gonna create a buyer persona. So we're gonna do this for 20 to 25 properties that sold in your neighborhood. And the reason we don't know the number is it depends how many properties sell in your area. If a lot sell, we're going to do more. If they're less, we're going to do less. And there are going to be some properties where we can't get any information. So that's full disclosure. I don't want to make you think that we're going to know the exact information for these 20 to 25 people or more, or sometimes less, depending on how many sell in your area. And say your neighborhood doesn't, there are very few sales in your neighborhood. We're going to look at surrounding areas, meaning like if someone is looking in your neighborhood to purchase a property and there are not that many that sold in your neighborhood, we're going to look at areas that that person is probably going to compare to yours. And so those neighborhoods that sold, if we don't get enough numbers, we're going to go in those neighborhoods as well. We want to make sure we get enough data so we can get an informed decision where we're not guessing. So with that said, like I said, we can't get everyone. Sometimes you have sales deals where they close at a property where it's an LLC or a business. If that's the case, we're going to Google that business. We're going to try and find out the officers. We're going to do our best to get the information. But there's some sales where you can't get any information. Sometimes even if it's like a police man or woman, and you can't get the information because they hide it. Depends on your area, depends on the different parts of the country, what information you can get and what you can't get. But we're going to dive in deep and we're going to get all the information we can. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to share my screen real quickly. Hopefully I don't stumble too badly. So I'm here. I'm going to share the screen. So there was another agent, it's a friend of mine, and he's a great agent, but he had this particular property on the market for 6 months. This property is very challenging. And this agent is an exceptional agent that wasn't able to sell it. In fact, when I first started in real estate 17 years ago, there were times I was struggling and I called him up and I asked him for some advice. He was so kind and he helped me. So this agent, even though he didn't sell this property, is a great agent. So let me tell you what the challenge with this property is. First of all, this property, I mean, as you can see, the rug is really old. The bathroom is old. It's a totally outdated house. You can see that. And not just that it's a totally outdated house, it's like almost 6,000 square feet. So if you have an outdated condo and it's 1 bedroom, 1 bath, it doesn't take that much money to update it. But when you have a property like this and you see how outdated it is, makes it really tough to sell. But with that said, there are certain things about the home that are great. You know, it has a lake, and you're allowed to use jet skis, motorboats, and stuff. So that's pretty good. Let me show you something else. It's nice that it also has a little beach there, some sand, where you have like your own private type of area. The garage is huge, and you have a little place where you can hang out by the water. You can sit up there. You can get a great view. Those are the main things that make this property great. So at the end of the day, this property was on the market for a long time and it didn't sell. So um, because obviously there were many challenges. So what we did when we got the property listed, we were fortunate to sell it in 9 or 10 days. And the reason we were able to do that was basically what I'm telling you. And I'm going to share with you I'm going to share with you the video that really connected the buyer to wanting to buy this property. So what we did, the first thing we did is we looked and we found out, in case you see my table moving, my cat is just jumped on the table, and maybe Oggie, that's the name of the cat, Ollie, what's what my wife calls him. He may jump in front of my screen. He may jump on my arms or something, but please disregard that. But anyways, we looked and we spent a few hours finding out the people that were buying this type of property. What also made this property challenging was that in this neighborhood, There were homes that were probably 85 to 90% of the homes that were in this neighborhood were about 1,800 square feet. And this was 5,600 square feet, if I'm not mistaken, just under 6,000 square feet. So significantly bigger than the other properties and totally outdated. So it made it a little bit difficult. So we looked at surrounding areas that had properties similar to this, and also the ones in this neighborhood that sold that were similar to this, the few ones that were there. And what we found out were a few things. We found out that a lot of the people there were in their like late 30s to probably around early 50s, early to mid 50s were the type of buyers. They had families, they had like teenagers typically. A lot of them were business owners. There were some that, a mix of other things where they were, doctors, lawyers, accountants, teachers, engineers, just a wide mix of people. And usually, because this property was relatively expensive, it was just under 800,000. Um, those teachers or other people that I mentioned, those professions, typically had another person in their family that was working, or that they had recently sold in a home that they got a lot of money on from the sale of the home, because they had to be able to afford the property, based on income or how much money they had. So after we did that, we also dug deep into their social media, and we found out that a lot of these people were very, very patriotic people. They were either in the military, had someone in their family that was in the military. Also, we also found, because this is in a place called Westwood Lake, they liked the water. They liked water activities. They liked either the beach, they liked jet skiing, motorboating, stuff like that. And they liked the view or just hang out. They liked they liked Miami for what it was, the weather and just doing these water associated type things. So the kids, like I said, were typically teenagers in like middle school. It was like a mix of people. Sometimes it was kids in elementary that were later in elementary, or mixed with, some in elementary, some in middle school, some in senior high. Um, so with that said, after we found that information, what we did is we took some photos and we shared it with, there's something called a ghostwriter. I don't know if you know what a ghostwriter is. It's basically a professional writer. And I'm sure you've seen like books by, people, athletes, and other famous people that you obviously that you've heard of. And sometimes they write books. Most of the time when they write books, it's not just them writing the book themselves, because it's very difficult. There need to be editors, there need to be, because if we just talk and talk and talk, we need to cut it down, but we have to make it so it makes sense and where it makes it more engaging. So there are these people that are professional writers. They're also called ghostwriters. Ghostwriters, you never see their names. It's this writer helping this celebrity or athlete or politician or whoever it is write a book, and this person is just putting it together or help write it. That's a ghostwriter. So we hire a professional ghostwriter. So the first thing we do is, again, we find out who the buyers are for that property. After we find out who the buyers are, we do a deep dive and we create this buyer persona, their likes, dislikes. We find out what's very engaging to them, what they like to do. We did another property that we sold. We had another property that we sold, and we found out that these people are like soccer moms, soccer dads. They like wine, like they like coming home, having a modern home, drinking wine. They also tended to seem like, just from an outsider looking in, people that were a little bit older that felt younger, that seemed to be younger based on like their music taste, depending on like how they dressed and stuff like that. So we go that deep into finding out the persona of that person. So in this case, what we did is we created this this buyer persona, these people. So for this house again, these people were like mid 30s to early to mid 50s. A lot of them were business owners. A lot of them liked water sports. A lot of them were very patriotic and had like military affiliations, whether they were in the military or a family member was in the military. They were very conservative people. So we were able to find that information. We sent it to our ghostwriter in California. We also sent her details about the neighborhood, just so she's familiar with it. And like just when I say like details, it would be like what's around it, demographics, just everything like that. Not demographics on like what type of people there are, but more like who likes that area. So like that buyer persona of the person. And then we took some home photos of the home that we sent them, and these were just on a iPhone, just taking on our phone, using our camera on our phone to take photos of the property. So we sent all that information to the writer, and then she wrote something about the home. So I don't have it like set up, but I'm going to pull it up on my screen. So I apologize if it takes me a second to get it. So hang on one second. Let me share my screen again, and let me actually, I'm going to Google myself. Amit Bhuta. Hopefully this gets me there. If it doesn't, it will take me a little time to get there. Okay, Google is great, so it was able to help me get there. So with that said, so every property we do a website for, and I'll show you the website. I guess I'll show it to you now. So this was we had a drone video of the property, so that's an overview. It's 5 bedroom, 4 bats, 2 half bats, 5569 square feet, and it was, I guess, 800,000 was the price. We sold it for 770, so we didn't get the full asking price, but it was on the market for 180 days, and it didn't get any offers or anything, and we sold it in like 9 or 10 days. So anyways, let me read to you first what the ghostwriter wrote based on that buyer persona. This is what she wrote. Home is family, it's smiling faces and morning pancakes as you welcome that dazzling Florida sunrise. It's evenings on the waterfront deck, sipping a favorite whiskey, wine, or mojito mixed from your corner wet bar. It's spending time on your private beach and watching families swim and water ski until the Miami moon resurfaces. Imagine the motorboat adventures you'll have with the 135 feet of lakefront footage. Picture the reunions and holiday parties you'll host in the soaring upstairs great room. This inspiring home has the footprint of your dreams, with 4 bedrooms and 2 optional room conversions, perfect for additional serene spaces. At night, head to your split level master with balcony access and gaze upon shimmering, settling Westwood Lake. Until tomorrow, adieu. Yes, this is home. So you could tell from what she wrote that she really, really wrote engaging stuff to that type of buyer and their lifestyle. And so the next thing we did is we were able to, the next thing after we get what she writes, we like to look at as a script. And as you can tell, we don't do like the 3 bedrooms, 2 bats with a garage and a pool in the back. We spend a lot of money on everything we do when we put a house on the market. It doesn't matter if that house is 200,000 or 20 million. We're going to spend many, many thousands of dollars to make it look perfect. We try and look at ourselves as Tiffany's. Tiffany, the store that's really expensive, the blue color that you see. If you go to Tiffany's and you're in the store is very expensive. But even if you buy the least expensive item there, it's gonna look like there was a lot of craftsmanship put into it. So we make sure that no matter if your home is 200,000 or 20 million or more, we make sure it looks like it's a multi-million-dollar home based on our marketing. So what we do is after we get the script, we share it with our videographer, and we like to look at that those remarks that the ghostwriter wrote. That's why I keep calling it a script. Is a script for a short film on that home. So with that said, I'm going to share with you the video that our videographer created. And what we wanted to do here is we wanted to highlight the lifestyle. We wanted to also highlight that it did need to get updated. We didn't want to hide the fact that the property is totally outdated. We wanted to make sure that the person knew that when they went to the house that it was outdated. But we also, and I don't know if you remember me sharing with you this, we realized that the people that look at homes here were very patriotic. They had some military ties, whether they were in the military or family or close friends were in the military, they had that. So the people in this house had like it's like a Christmas tree, and they had some military like photos of people they had in the military. So I wanted to share that with you because you could subtly see it. So I'm going to play this video. It's about 2 minutes, and let me make sure my volume is good. Looks like it is. My cat is probably coming up soon to me. So I'm going to play the video. So with that said, I'm going to continue going over the website. So we also pay someone to scan the house and get a floor plan. So we know that not everyone has the time to come to a property, but they know how their furniture is or their ideal floor plan for their home is. So every single home we have, we do a floor plan. So, and when you have someone doing a floor plan and they're scanning like nearly 6,000 square feet, it's going to take a little time, and obviously it's going to be very expensive to do as well. But we know how important that is, and so we do that. So then we have photos of the home, like I was sharing with you. I'm going to scroll through it pretty quickly because I already went over a lot of it. Then we also have, I'm going to share with you here, we have like stuff in the neighborhood, what there's to do. So like this, you probably may have trouble seeing this if you're looking at on your phone or maybe on your laptop, but you can click on the photo. And so what it shows is neighborhood eats. It shows what's around the neighborhood, the type of food, the different price ranges, and also it has convenience, ATMs, gas stations, pharmacy, gym, cleaners, movie theater, groceries, coffee, medical. And as we get out of COVID, hopefully sooner than later, as people spend more time in their neighborhood and do things, we think these are important things. The great outdoors. You know, these people like in this neighborhood, the buyers, they like the outdoors. So we got parks, golf, trails and parks, 26 golf courses, 16 parks, 4 dog parks. Um, and we want to make sure the person has all the information when they look at the homes. And then depending on some of this, if the home is looks good and the let me go back a step, doesn't look good. I don't want to say that. If the owner allows us to do a 3D tour of the home, it's called a Matterport, where it's a virtual reality tour. If someone wears glasses, it seems like they're in the home, and you can actually scroll through each room. You can go on the floor, the ceiling. You could move in many, many directions. We do that on every single home if the owner allows us to do it. In this case, the owners were packing, they were moving, there's a lot of stuff everywhere, and it just didn't make sense to do it. Then, obviously there's a map. Then what we also do is we have Miami from above. And like I said, this is gonna be a long video. It already is. Thanks for spending the time with me. But I'm gonna play this video of Miami to get people excited about where they're moving, because typically in Miami, we get anywhere from 15 to 35%, depending on the year, the time, the economy, of people moving from out of the country. And right now, there are way more people coming from out of state. We're getting a ton of people from New York, Chicago, Boston, DC, the Bay Area. And again, this information, it's not guessing. We have sources where we know exactly who's coming, the percentage, everything. So I'm going to play this video because a lot of times people don't really know Miami. So we want to get them excited about moving here. And I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play about half of it. Well, I guess I really liked the video, so I shared the whole thing. So I was going to add a little bit more about what we do to get properties sold. So because we did that, the next thing is we get an offer. I'm going to stop sharing my screen a second. So the next step is we get an offer. And we're not going to, again, guess. The theme of this video is not guessing. So typically as an agent that someone hires, they're gonna they're gonna basically hope that that agent negotiates the right way, and that agent guesses the best way to negotiate. We don't do that. We don't think that's the best way to do things. And as far as negotiating, after I graduated college in finance, I was in the car business for 11 years. I was that sales manager that was the closer that met people right away, got them to pay more than what they wanted, and then got them to like the dealership to give us a perfect score on surveys. So I'm very good at negotiating, but I realized I can't just rely on my past skills to get better. So we use artificial intelligence to negotiate better. So how does that work? It's pretty interesting actually, and we've been using this for a few years now. So with every transaction, so say I'm representing you, you're the seller, and I get an offer from the buyer. There are three people that I'm typically going to have to deal with. If the buyer, and it's three if they're two buyers, meaning like um, husband, wife, 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 husband, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend. There's so many different mixes, but whatever. The two buyers that are buying the property, or one buyer, and then the agent that's helping them buy the property. So what I do and our team does, Jade, Will, me, Vico, or whoever else is doing the transaction, is going to use our artificial intelligence, and we're going to pull a report on the buyers and the real estate agent that we're dealing with. So what this report is going to do is it's going to tell us how to negotiate with them. It's going to tell us, should we be analytical? Should we be visual? What words to use, what words not to use, how to best negotiate over the phone or email, or is it going to be in person? So it tells us all the things to do, and it tells us all the things not to do. Keep it short, make it simple, or expand, make it very detailed. When we have all these things, it helps us negotiate significantly better. And our asking price to the original list price to what we get is very, very high because of this. It helps us. And the reason we also get the other real estate agents information is because we want to make sure that we can get our message across to the buyers if we're representing the sellers. So we need to know how to speak that other agent's language so that she or he will get the message across. So there's a lot of other details that go into it, but I'm not gonna share all of them because it'll be way too time consuming. But with that said, we spend a ton of time on every single transaction, whether we're representing the buyer or the seller. Obviously, if we're representing the buyer, we're going to get that information for the seller and the other agent as well. So those are the main things that we do to get a property sold. And I guarantee you this, we're going to spend significantly more money than anyone else will on your home, whether it's in the advertising, whether it's in the marketing. I'll give you an example on advertising. What we do is, I'm sure a lot of you watch YouTube. So what we do YouTube pre-roll ads. So I'm sure that like a lot of times when you watch YouTube, there'll be like a video that pops up and it'll be on for like 5 seconds before you can get rid of it. I think it's 5 seconds, whatever the number is, depending on the video. We make sure we do those YouTube pre-roll ads. So you would see like a video of ours, but the difference between us and most people that do those ads is we make sure that person that sees that ad is going to probably be interested in it. So we do those YouTube pre-roll ads. We do also something called retargeting, where you'll see basically, I don't know if you've ever gone online and tried to buy something and then you didn't buy it, or you went to a website and you saw something maybe on Instagram or Facebook, and then all of a sudden you see that item going all across. So we do that. That's called remarketing or retargeting. We do that, but what we have following you is going to be way more interesting to you instead of it annoying you. So I'm going to share my screen again. And another thing that we do is we created a show and we had like videographers following us. It's called All in Miami. I'm going to share this really quickly. It's not going to be long like the other videos. But by doing the show, we created a very, very big online presence with other agents in the country and in the world, besides consumers. Because at the end of the day, besides the buyers looking at the properties, we want to make sure those agents know of us, so the transaction will be easier to do and they'll look out for for our property. So I'm going to play this real quickly. I don't know, maybe 30, 45 seconds. That's Jade on the team. That's a Matterport tour. It's me. It's Will on the right and Jade right there.
I love seeing how old customers are doing, following up with them, or hearing
There's
back
Maya
and then calling new people and just meeting new
reddish
people. I like to think I'm a genuinely sociable person. So it's always fun to talk to somebody new and get to know them a little bit and see why they want to move to Miami or why they want to move somewhere else in Miami.
We're in an elevator. We are showing amazing apartments.
So by doing the show, we've been able to get a lot of agents that have people looking to move to Miami, and they'll look at our listings. And we've actually got 68 agent referrals in the last 3 years. A typical real estate agent gets like one a year if they're lucky. So this was just a testimonial from someone. Our home priced at $1,225,000 was on the market for 1 year with a local realtor without any offers. Amit and the team sold it in 34 days at a price we were very happy with. Alicia Sandoval. So I'm going to share with you one last thing. I'm going to share with you the video of the people. Let me see if I can do it properly. The video of this home that we sold that I mentioned. Let's see if I can pull it up. Hopefully, oh, let me do this. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared for this, but I thought it would be important. And as you see my video, you can see like there are analytics to the side and stuff. And it's done on purpose because we want to monitor everything. We don't want to guess. So this video, these are the Whelans. So I'm gonna click on here. Let me click on their video. And this is what they said about their journey with us. Sorry, it's taking a bit of time to load.
We moved in 1973. We didn't have a lot of money, but kids were always the most important.
A little scary, making a big move, but it's time. The house is way too big for just two people.
It's all my blood, sweat, and tears in here, and it's hard for me. It's harder for me to walk away from it. So.
I don't think there's one memory. Every door I open or every drawer I pull out, there's more memories.
We put it on the market last December, and we didn't have much luck. My daughter, who's an agent in Jacksonville, knew somebody up there who hooked us up with Amit, and the difference to me was pretty much astronomical. And Amit was a little more honest about what we give for the house. He's very calm. He never gets upset, no matter what. When he answers you immediately. You want him to call, he calls you. He likes to text a lot, but that's the newer generation. When you guys finally finished all the work, and put it out. It was only on the market for about a week, maybe 10 days, and it sold.
Yeah, people saw it right away.
I just don't think they marketed it as well. And when you have to ask me, how do I want the pictures to go? How do you want to describe the house? Or what do you think we should say about the house? And it just seems to me like their marketing wasn't as good as Amit's was, where he hires someone to write the description, and you're much more thorough as a videographer than they were, and the pictures are fantastic. I thought it was great. I thought he did a fantastic job, obviously. I'm not an easy person to deal with.
Just cherish every day, every little thing they do. Just enjoy everything you can, because they're going to keep growing up, and then they're going to be walking, and then they're going to be riding a bike, and then they're going to be skiing on the lake. You know, time goes by really fast, really fast.
73, though. I've seen a lot of kids grow up in the neighborhood. They've all worked for us. They've been our friends. It's because Colette has done a lot of that stuff and takes care. She's really good with kids. You know, she's a great person, a great mother.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun to see the grandkids enjoy the lake.
Yeah, it was called Grand's Beach House.
So that's the last thing I'm going to share with you. And so, like I mentioned, and thanks for hanging in there if you made it to this part of the video. I guess I should create chapters for this. And I guess I'm saying that if you're seeing it, there will already be there. But don't guess when you're selling your home. Don't guess about who the buyers are. Don't guess how to negotiate with them. Don't guess on if that agent knows what they're doing. It could hurt you. We never, ever, ever, ever forget how many people's lives are impacted with your move. We know for the most part, whether even it doesn't matter the price point. And thankfully, we sell all different price ranges. We deal with athletes, celebrities, and all that. But what probably gets us the most excited is when we get that call from someone that's maybe 20, 21, 22 years old, and they get a little bit emotional when I think about this, but where they've been at home and they got a job, and they're starting to do well. Maybe they just graduated college, or maybe they're just doing better in life now. They've lived at home their whole life, and now they're calling us to help them find their first place, live away from mom and dad. And how much more honored could we feel than to be able to help that person start the next chapter of their life? And we feel like also we want to make sure that mom and dad, or whoever is taking care of them, they're the person, like whether it's a mom, a dad, or if it's a grandmother, whoever it is that's taking care of them, we want to make sure that when this person calls up their family and says that they're moving, when they speak to us, when that parent or family member speaks to us, or spouse speaks to us, they're proud of what we did. And we found them a place that's going to be as safe as possible, that's going to not drown them in their, because it's too expensive, where they feel like a family member actually helped them move. We never, ever forget that. So whenever you make a move, do the research, ask them these questions, because we know that the impact of an extra $100,000 or a few $100,000, or selling your place or not selling your place, affects not just your life, but so many others. We know that the kids that are moving into a neighborhood are going to probably meet their best friends in the future. The parents are probably going to meet some of their best friends in the future. We know 10 years from now or 5 years from now, when it's a holiday or it's Thanksgiving or something, and they're having a family gathering, they're going to be talking about those days when they move to their house. They're going to be talking about all the friends and family members that have come to their place, the new people that they've met. We never forget that. So please find someone when you end up selling your house or buying a house that's going to look at it just like it is for you. Thanks so much for watching. Hope I get to meet you, and whoever you deal with, if you ever need help, and I'm not saying where you want to work with us, it's okay if you never work with us. But if you just need help from someone that wants to help you, meaning you're not sure about something and you want to get some advice on something, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to help. And in the comments, you'll see our information. And you can always find us on allinmiami.com, allinmiami.com. And we call that obviously all in because we're all in on you, because we want to make sure that we do everything we can to make your journey a little bit better. There's going to be some stress. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's going to be stress free, because moving and there's so many emotions. There are going to be times when you feel like you want to do it, when you don't want to buy it or sell. There are going to be times like that. But I promise you this, we're going to do every single thing. We know before you call us if you're moving, whether you're selling or buying, whatever your next home is, we know you've spent hours and days looking at hundreds of homes before you decide to, pick the few that you do to share with the agent. So we know that, and we're gonna make sure we think about this 24/7, just like you. Well, thanks so much again for watching, and hope to see you soon. All the best. Love you guys.